I just always known in the back of my head that, I'm a writer. I love to write. I love to create. I used to have a blog where I used to just write poems, and people from all around the world on WordPress could read them, and I would get positive feedback. So I thought maybe I could do something with this, but at the same time, it was really hard because I had already put in so much work into what I thought I wanted to do, and so many hours, painstaking hours, and just that. And I also didn't want to let my dad down. I didn't want to feel like I was like a disappointment and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? If I've learned one thing from life, is that life is short, and I'm just here to be happy. Like I don't really want anything else. I just want to feel fulfilled and happy. So I'm gonna do whatever I feel inside of me that I need to do.
Okay, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a very special guest. She's a robotics instructor by day and a creator by night. She does focus-based TikToks and Reels. She's a Twitch streamer and Fortnite creator. She also does photography and videography. She's a writer. She has a kids book out on Amazon titled Where the Fireflies Go. She's a mother. She's launching a cookbook, and she's launching a vegan beauty line titled Pure. She has 35,000 followers on Instagram. Please welcome to the podcast, Eloisa Chairez.
Hello. What's up, guys?
Nice to have you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks
for inviting me. This is the first podcast I've ever been on. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Be the first of many, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you do so much. Like people need to know about you, right? You're like
it really is the first of many because I actually already have like 5 lined up.
Well, we're very grateful to have you as the first one, right? So
definitely.
We always like to start off with kind of getting to know our guests, and I feel like if they get to know you, like how you grew up, where you come from, stuff like that, the audience can connect with you better. So let's go back, I mean, I know we're in San Jose right now, but were you born and raised in San Jose?
No, I was born in Mexico, in a small town in Mexico called Villa.
Okay.
And that's where I come from. I came to the US and I was 6 years old with my little sister and been here ever since. Go back to visit every now and then, but honestly I haven't been in a while and really want to go soon.
That's interesting because they say people's personality and subconscious is formed from age 0 to 7. So do you feel like those Mexican roots are very, very deep in your subconscious? Yeah,
definitely. I do. Now that you mention it, it does make sense that, I've heard that before, but I've never really thought about it in my perspective, like from my experience. And I definitely do feel like it influences your deep subconscious and the ways that you think and view things. And especially when it comes to like financial, family, food, all that stuff, I definitely do think it influences it a lot.
Yeah. It's awesome. So you came here at 6 years old. Did you come with your whole entire family? Who did you come with when you were 6, and why did you guys come to the United States?
Right. So I came with my sister. My sister is 4 years younger than me. I didn't come by myself with my sister, but I mean, I if you guys have ever heard of a coyote, that's how I got here.
A coyote.
Explain that, please.
Yeah. Can you explain what a coyote is for those that don't really understand what that is?
Oh man, I don't even honestly know exactly how to define it, but it's basically a person who aids you, I think illegally.
It's all good now.
Country. It's all good now, naturalized. I'm now part of the US, and I'm a US citizen, and so I can mention it, I guess. But that's how I got it.
So just you and your sister, you guys are very young. Both of you under 6, and a coyote brought you guys. No family came with you guys at the time?
My dad was like on the sidelines of it, but he wasn't with us just because he was already, he came here first. He was already a citizen, and he didn't, I don't think he was supposed to be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's me, us, and the coyote, and trusted us. So young. That's the crazy part that I think about it now that I'm a mom, And I'm like, would I trust my daughter to come with somebody who I don't know, to come to another country, like in the way that we did? And it's like such tough decisions that parents had to make, for a better life, I guess.
Yeah, that's
What
crazy.
what was that experience like, if you remember any?
Yeah, it was definitely scary because you're so young and you just don't really know what's happening 100%. Also, the Coyote didn't really speak Spanish. She spoke English. It was a lady and her husband. And I remember sitting in the car at the gas station while she was putting in gas. And I was like, I really need to go pee, but I don't know how to say it. And I don't know what to say. Let me tell you that I peed in the car that day.
You were a little girl. It's okay. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, but I'm just telling you like the realist things because this is exactly like the things that going through your head when you're that young, going through that experience. You're just completely lost and just hoping that everything's going to turn out okay.
Yeah, that's a crazy experience. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that has done something. Maybe made you a little bit tougher. Maybe made you be able to deal with things more. Do you know if that's affected you in any way, like now?
Um, Definitely. It's something that I didn't really think a lot about. Like it's not in the forefront of my mind all the time, especially now that it's been years and years since it happened. But when I think about it, I definitely think that it's helped shaped me as a person now that I'm older. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's awesome that you made it here and everything was good because, like you said,
Yeah.
that's pretty like intense to like leave your two little daughters, basically under 6, both of them, with strangers. But did your father know them like personally, or was it just someone they hired?
Yeah, I don't know. I never asked him. Like I've never asked, did you know these people? Or I think you just hire them and you hear from
Mhm.
like word of mouth from other people who've done it. And I think you just pay them and you trust them that they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. I remember sleeping with my sister at night, and it's kind of funny that these people are called coyotes, but at night all I could hear was coyotes howling.
Wow.
And I was just like in the middle of nowhere, and it was somewhere in Tijuana, and I don't know where though, but somewhere there, and a house in the middle of nowhere. You could just hear crickets all night, coyotes howling, and me just like not knowing a million things going through my head. What was gonna happen the next day?
Yeah, you were 6 years old, right?
Yeah, yeah. My sister is even younger. She's 4 years younger than me. So how old was she? She's like
2?
2. Yeah. Sorry, I'm bad at math too.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a
Crazy.
movie.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of this before. This is my first time hearing this. It's kind of
Really.
cool, actually.
Yeah,
It's different.
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize like they kind of demonize like immigrants and they say this and that, but they don't realize the things that they go through just to get here for a better life. You know what I mean? Like I don't know any parent that would feel, I mean, I'm pretty sure your dad was worried, but just to leave his two young daughters both under 6 with strangers, or hopefully they weren't two strangers, but just with an unknown situation, but just because he knew that it was dangerous or he wasn't sure, but he knew that if you guys got here and everything was good, that your life was going to be completely better.
Different. Yeah.
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 So you guys get here now. What happened? How did you guys get here? Where did you land?
Right. So I shouldn't forget to mention that the purpose of us coming here, since you did ask, and I didn't really answer it, was my mom was diagnosed in Mexico with a terminal illness, a form of brain cancer. And so she had to seek better, medical treatment, and Mexico just didn't have at the time any resources to help her. And so her only option was to come here. And when she was here, she couldn't really go back because she wasn't naturalized yet. But she wanted her daughters with her, especially having that type of illness. And so I don't think my parents really had a choice the way that I see it now. Honestly. I would have probably done the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So both your parents were already here. Your mom was trying to get treatment, and who were you guys left with when they came here?
My grandparents, my
Okay.
dad's dad.
Okay. Do you know how long you guys were here before they brought you back to the U.S.?
Hmm. I I don't know. Well, let's see. I was 6. My mom probably came when I was like 4, 5. She was
Wow.
probably only here for about a year and a half until she made it happen that we come here too.
Wow. You know what? That just shows how tough immigrants, number one, are, or even your parents. Like, number one, she's dealing with the sickness, but then now she doesn't have her own daughters, like, with her. But in the end, it all worked out, and you guys got here. Do you remember the first thing you saw, or like when you got to the United States, or was it like what you expected, or you were just so young you just don't even know?
Uh, well, the first thing that I remember, obviously, was probably the airplane stuff. But I remember the food was really gross. For example, like the sandwich they gave us was just nasty, honestly. And it food in Mexico tastes so much different. That's one of the things you'll notice when you come here from another country is that food, just everything, orange juice, eggs, milk, ketchup, everything tastes different. And so I guess that was my first thing that I noticed. Then it was how all the houses had green lawns in front. I mean, that was like a huge luxury. You go to Mexico, no houses at the time at least had green lawns up in front with like a whole garden.
Nice
That's
setup, by the way. That looks like a
Thanks.
real gamer, like content
Yes,
creator
my little
setup.
studio. Yeah.
What was the first food that you guys ate when you came here? If you
Actually, it was a
remember.
bag of Cheetos. A bag of Cheetos,
oh
the like
wow.
orange ones, and they were so good. I mean, the Cheetos in Mexico taste completely different, but the ones here, I remember, I was like, wow, these are amazing, like the best thing I had ever tasted. I don't know if I was just really hungry. I remember that was the first thing I had at the hotel. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it took you guys like a day to get here to the US. How long
So I
was it?
know we stayed with the Coyotes for about a week.
Mm.
And then eventually my dad showed up, and I was so happy to see him. And somehow they got us in a plane. And then next thing you know, I was here. I don't know the details of all that. I don't know how we got in a plane, honestly. No idea. I should ask him that. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I asked, it took us 5 years to get here. I was 5 years old. We were
Okay.
petitioned, and then when I turned like 10,
Uh-huh.
that's when we came here. So it took
Wow.
5 years, paperwork and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Five
Yeah,
she's
years.
yeah,
Wow.
from
she's
the
from the
Philippines.
Philippines.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
and back then I didn't care. I was just playing with my friends. But next thing you know, oh, we're leaving. I'm like, okay, now I gotta
Five
go say bye to my
years.
friends.
So
Yeah.
you stayed like in a completely different place from the Philippines for 5 years, and
No,
then,
I
or
was just in the Philippines for it took 5 years for us to come here, like with
oh,
the
for
with the
to make it
paperwork.
happen.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
got it, got it.
yeah.
Like from the beginning to end. Got it, got it.
I
Wow.
mean, maybe if there was a way for us to just do it illegally or like faster, then we could have gotten here like a week later. But no, it was like all the way in the different part of the world. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's way far.
Yeah, so you're here and your first experience was Cheetos and then you got on a plane and you came to San Jose?
Yeah, straight to San Jose. Um, my dad, he was living with my aunt at the time, just renting a room there basically. And they stayed at a pretty big house there. It's a two-story house out here in like East San Jose, I think. Or maybe I think it was East. And I got signed up for school and I started on this journey. Yeah, that's basically how.
Did you know any English when you came here?
No, no, no. And what sucks is they put me in an all English class, which is crazy. How did they do that to me? Oh my gosh. So yeah, I knew zero English. My teacher spoke all English, and she wanted to encourage me to try and learn to read in English. So during reading time, she would actually call on me, knowing I didn't know English, for me to read out the words, which is so embarrassing. Like I was
Wow.
just petrified every time I was reading time. I was like, I do not want to be here. But yeah, it was a little traumatized,
Yeah.
honestly, that part. Hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, how long do you think it took you before you started to kind of feel comfortable with the language?
I would say by fifth, no, not even. It took me a while. I would say honestly, like comfortable 10th grade high school.
10th grade high school.
Yeah, because it's just so hard to learn everything. And I knew I had an accent. I knew it. I couldn't pronounce so many words or really like get my thoughts together. I always felt a little uncomfortable speaking English.
Yeah, and so probably in the home it was a lot of Spanish too, right?
Yeah, both my mom, my dad, my whole family just Spanish at the home, and that's like a rule. Spanish at the home.
Wow.
It's not anymore, thank God. Like when I see my dad, it doesn't have to be that way, but it was like a process.
Man, so it took you basically 11 years to get comfortable with the language.
Writing, speaking, reading, yeah. And honestly, what I did do to get comfortable during freshman year, because every time my English class was hard, I always got low scores reading, writing, English at least, not Spanish. But I remember one of my teachers in integrated science gave me a huge textbook during that summer of 9th grade, and I was just so determined to like learn, and just I wanted to graduate high school, and I actually took that big textbook and I started writing every page from like beginning, and I finished reading the whole textbook that summer and wrote a lot of those chapters, just writing every word and pronouncing it, like just trying to like make a sense of everything. And that was what helped me, honestly. Now I could probably speak a lot better, but it was thanks to that summer reading that big old huge science textbook. Otherwise, I don't know, probably still would be struggling.
Wow.
English is a hard language. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing though. Like you actually put in the effort. You said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
After you did that, did it give you like a new sense of confidence?
Yeah, I actually I graduated probably on top of my class with honors and everything, thanks to that.
Wow.
Thanks to that. I went on to be able to take AP courses and just do really well in high school, thanks to that. But if it wasn't for me really wanting to do it, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Wow. That's amazing. I think, you know, something about being born in a different country and having to come here and having to struggle and having to, you know, adjust, it just makes you kind of tougher and it makes you more determined, you know, and I think that's awesome. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the hustle is a little different too. If we're coming from a different country, we're
It
born
is.
here.
Like I said, the way you view financial stuff, everything really, you view it from a whole different perspective. I think because I can't really judge how people who've been raised here view things. But from my perspective, I just know that things don't come easy. And, you know, you just gotta put in the work.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't
appreciate things.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we don't realize it. Like we don't ever realize it at the time, even especially when we're young. Like we're like, why is this happening? Why is this so hard for me? But then as you get older, you start to realize like, man, that was probably like a blessing in disguise because now I appreciate things so much more. I'm tougher, you know. There's no such thing as a weak, successful person. You know what I mean? So so after high school, did you go to college?
I did go to college. I had a hard time figuring out exactly what I wanted to do. I started majoring in physiology because, like I said, the whole science book thing kind of ignited me into, I don't know, just having an appreciation for science, I guess. So for a long time, I thought that's what I wanted to do, you know, but at the same time, it was a little painstaking. Like I didn't really fully enjoy it. Like it wasn't naturally like enjoyable. I don't know how to, you know how science can be. It's like it's fun once you learn it, but learning it is really painstaking. Like hours and hours of studying like all day, and it really wasn't satisfying. Like it wasn't satisfying. It wasn't fulfilling. And so I stopped and I just started taking random classes in art and in I guess a lot of different type of art forms, like different types of arts that they offered as electives in college. And I decided that, you know, just the family that I come from and everything, just, they're really strict on having to have a major in like science, law, you know, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it just wasn't it. I always knew it, so I had to try something different.
It wasn't your bliss.
I guess so. And I know that your job shouldn't technically have to be enjoyable, but for me, it's like, why not? Like, why not? Growing up from the upbringing that I had, it's like you go to work, you don't have to enjoy it. It shouldn't be enjoyable, but you have to do it as a sacrifice. But it's like, why? Like, why can't you just have fun doing what you do? Why not? So I guess
Yeah.
I'm kind of the first person in my family to really just step out of the box and try something different just because I believe that I can. And I guess that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, that's amazing. That's music to my ears because this podcast is about that, right? You
Yeah.
know, growing up in any family, especially an immigrant family, I grew up. I'm Mexican American. My father's from Mexico, right?
Okay.
So, in a way, they always teach you education, 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 because they just want you to be successful because they think that is what makes you successful because that's what they were kind of taught, and especially in my generation because my parents are baby boomers and I'm Generation X. So it was all about school, 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 right? But now people are starting to realize and learn that, yeah, school's important. I'm not saying there's nothing that it's not
Yeah.
important, but like it's more about you finding what your purpose is and pursuing your
Yeah.
passions because to be successful, it takes hard work, it takes dedication. And if you don't love something, it's going to be very difficult to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the Mexican work ethic is something that is different because
Yeah.
if you come from Mexico, you're taught work, 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 right? But that was very awesome that you broke away from the mold, you know what I mean, and decided to do something more creative. What was it that made you decide like it was just you just weren't happy, or were you like, you know what, I'm here, I'm gonna do something different? What was it that was it like a defining moment that made you decide I'm not gonna do what my family wants me to do, I'm gonna do what I want to do?
That's a really good question because I haven't even sat down to really think about the answer. But I I would say that I've always known since I was very young that I have a love for like, and I never quite put my finger on it, but it was for creativity type of things. That where you could really connect with others through real emotion, through real just realness type of things. And music does that for me, art does that for me. Like all these different types of art forms do that for me. And I just knew, always known in the back of my head that I'm a writer. I love to write. I love to create. I used to have a blog where I used to just write poems, and people from all around the world on WordPress could read them, and I would get positive feedback. So I thought maybe I could do something with this, but at the same time, it was really hard because I had already put in so much work into what I thought I wanted to do, and so many hours, painstaking hours, and just that. And I also didn't want to let my dad down. I didn't want to feel like I was like a disappointment and stuff like that. But I was like, what if I've learned one thing from life is that life is short, and I'm just here to be happy. Like I don't really want anything else. I just want to feel fulfilled and happy. So I'm gonna do whatever I feel inside of me that I need to do.
I'm
So
into
that's what
that. I'm into that. Seriously.
Yeah, we appreciate that big time here because that's what this podcast is about. Like I was talking to somebody earlier and I was just talking to them about the podcast and why we do it. And it's pretty much like 87% of people don't like what they do and 10% of people hate what they do. So that means only 3% of people in this world actually are doing what they love, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? And if I could just bring people like yourself or other people that sharing their story that decided to break the mold, they said, you know what, life is too short. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I think that's awesome. So now you started to break the mold. I mean, you said you were a good writer. Do you think that at one time where you wrote that whole science book from scratch kind of helped you with your writing, or was that always something you were good at?
I think it's something I've always just had in me because I remember elementary school, we used to have to write stories and then present them to the class. And we would do every week. So every week we would write a different page. And my stories were just long, and I had so much to say and so much to write about. And I remember I would always like the class would just be so into the story, and I just liked like the expressions on their faces and just being able to to share something that made them feel how I felt or understand me in a different way that they probably couldn't understand me in any other way if I expressed it differently. So I just knew that I liked to write. I liked music, and I started writing little poems since I was probably in fifth grade, and I would just keep them stashed up under my bed in a little drawer. And I did that probably for years and years and years, and I would do it during class. Sometimes I wasn't paying attention, I'd just be writing. And I just kind of knew that I probably had, I don't know, a passion for expressing myself through writing.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you
interesting.
you were paying attention to yourself, basically. You were paying attention to other things, but yourself and your
I'm
what
like,
you love.
I was zoned out of class, but I was in my own little world writing a story that I guess I just really needed to express it somehow.
Who were your inspirations growing up?
Growing up, I guess just the music I listened to, Alicia Keys. Um, I mean, all those songs on the radio that were playing at the time. When I was in sixth grade, that was the song.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
he from San Jose?
Yeah, he is.
Did you ever get to meet him?
No, I have a friend who's his cousin, but never met him.
Oh,
But
gotcha. Is that
yeah,
whole
that
60?
song just brings me back to my childhood, I guess. That's why I mentioned him.
Which song exactly?
Sugar, the sugar,
Oh.
sugar.
Yeah.
I remember that song.
Yeah, Baby Bash is big in San Jose. So those were your. So it seems like, because like you said, you had struggled with the language for so long, and you kind of found like a way where you can be yourself, you can be creative, and you can express yourself. So it was like all of a sudden, all the kids that you had difficulty, communicating with, or they didn't understand you the right way, you're like, now they can understand me, and they can understand, and like now they're excited. And I mean, that must have been an amazing feeling. Like, my stories are impacting these kids.
In a sense, I guess for me, it was more about getting my thoughts onto paper instead of just keeping them all in my head all the time, and my different things, that I would think, I guess. And it wasn't until I was way older that I realized that through my self-expression in different art forms, I could actually help connect and even heal other people, which is crazy to say, but that's how I feel.
That's amazing, right? Okay, so you're a robotics instructor. Where did that come from? From stories and all this kind of stuff to robotics.
From all that to robotics, that just kind of happened. I was in a job, stuck in a job that it was dreadful. I mean, hope nobody from that job's listening to this, but I'm just kidding. I don't care. It was a dental office, and I mean, I was just working there as a dental assistant and kind of a regular 9 to 5 job. And I just remember thinking, man, I could be doing so many other things and just spending my time in so many other ways that would make me so much more happy. But if I only found a way to monetize it or something, because I need the money, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And so eventually, I guess that was kind of a stepping stone in me knowing that I hated that job so much. I mean, I was grateful for the job, okay, but because at least I had a job, but I just hated having to go there. I mean, I didn't even want to be on time. I just didn't. I woke up dreading that I had to go to work. That's when I started getting into TikTok, making TikTok videos. And I remember I was constantly late for my job because I would be in my car filming TikTok videos and I just didn't care anymore. And that's when I like I have to figure something else out that I, would enjoy more. And I just did a search online, and I've taught before becoming a robotics instructor. I was teaching in Union City in a little learning club called Golden Bear Education. And I really enjoyed that job so much. But when I left Union City to come back to San Jose, I had to quit. And I had to figure out, what I was going to do here to survive and make money. So that's the first thing that came up. I took the job. And I kind of regretted it, but I was too far in to leave then. And eventually I did end up leaving the job. I remember I loved the people that I was working for, and I really appreciate because they helped me throughout so many things. But I was I told them, you know what, I don't really want to do what I'm supposed to do in this office, but I can help you market your business to get more people to come in because that's what they're interested in doing. They want to make the money. So I told them, it's not really conventional too for an employee to just tell their boss, I don't really like what I'm here to do, but I can promote your business online and make you a new website and get you to get more clients to come in here. And they were like, let's do it. And so I had no idea how to market at the time or anything about marketing, but I knew that I could probably do it. So I just started up doing it. I did really well, and they were happy. I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, I could be doing this for me. I'm making them all this money, but I'm getting paid as an employee. I was like, like as much as I want to, like continue doing this because it was fun. I knew I had to venture out and try something for myself. Like I want to put in the hours for me. I want to invest in me. I want to make it happen for me, and that's basically why I left. And then fell into some different things.
Explain real quick to everyone, what is a robotic instructor?
Yeah, a robotics instructor is basically somebody who teaches the STEM curriculum. So as you guys know, I have a background in science. And basically that just helped me with the tests, the certification for becoming, sorry, I don't know why I did that, but for the certification to be able to teach robotics. And it's just like the STEM curriculum is for students who want to go into the field of science when they're older, or their parents want to encourage them to have a real love for science, to enjoy science. And robotics is based off engineering, and the STEM curriculum is basically like math, science, all those little things that build a person into wanting to go into like the tech industry.
Gotcha. So you mentioned I didn't want to be paid like an employee anymore. I wanted to do something for myself. Where did the entrepreneurial spirit come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the reason why I took up the robotics job was because it wasn't like a 9 to 5 job where I had to clock in at a time. I had to leave at a time. I was kind of the robotics organization that I started working with, I guess, has like instructors all over the world, but they hire one person for like California, for like Ohio, like Canada, and they kind of teach them how to, but like the business process of managing that business in that place. So they taught me like the business side of how to manage it, because I'm basically managing the whole like thing for California, going to different locations, speaking to like the people who own the buildings where I teach. And that helped me so much as well, to just not care, because I used to be shy. I used to feel like, what if I don't say what I'm supposed to say correctly? What if I just don't know what to do when I get there? But that kind of forced me into having to do it. And eventually I realized everybody is just like, people are so similar at the same time. They're so not similar, but so similar at the same time, And I just didn't really, I guess, care anymore. Like what others would think, what they would say, or maybe I didn't do something right. Well, I would just keep, trying till I did what I was supposed to do.
That's
and
awesome.
that kind of helped me too, I guess, a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I think that's the biggest thing that holds most people back from doing something that they want to do is the fear.
Oh yeah, the fear is real. Let me tell you. Even though I'm out here doing like TikToks that are crazy and like putting myself out there in different ways, the you do feel fear. Let me tell you, it's not just like I'm just super brave and I just don't give a damn and I just don't care what people think and I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and then I do it. Before all that could happen, I went through nights where honestly my anxiety was just making my head run wild. And I was like, what if I do this and then people are gonna think I'm crazy? What if like I just make a fool out of myself? Like all these things that you think in your head. And I think it's totally, I don't know if it's normal. I think it is, but eventually once you kind of work yourself and your head through it, you come out the other side so much stronger and you genuinely heal that part of you that's scared.
Yeah,
And
that
it's just
is.
like a process. It's a process. Like when I'm gonna do anything, I know I'm gonna go through an anxiety phase. It's expected, but I know that I'm gonna overcome it, and I'm gonna be what I'm supposed to be able to handle that task after that.
So you're already preparing yourself before that arrives, and you just
Yeah,
like, you know what? I'll go away eventually.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
You know,
what I.
they say everybody has fear, but the successful people have something called courage, where they do it
Yeah.
anyways. Like everyone's still afraid, but they still do it. Like I remember I was being mentored by some successful lady, and I had to do something that was very important. And then she's like, "Well," and then she's like, "Well, is it important?" I said, "Yeah, but I'm afraid." She's like, "Well, then do it afraid."
Mm-hmm,
And I was
mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, that makes sense." Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, those are very, very important lessons. And like you said, even though you still have those feelings, you'll get over it, you'll move through it,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get stronger. Um,
Yeah. And
You
this
eh,
say
is
it's guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Well, also like
Yeah.
you said earlier, life is too short. Might as well just do it,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Life is too short. And at this and like I said, everybody you I think before you try anything new, especially when it has to do with other people, like putting yourself out there for other people to kind of you're putting yourself on a stage, you're thinking that the other people are so much, you're putting them on a pedestal. But in reality, they're just like you and they appreciate any realness.
Wow.
And yeah,
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Because
definitely.
when you put people on a pedestal, you're giving yourself so much pressure. Like, why?
Yes.
Everyone thinks
Why?
that that person is thinking about you, while that
Uh-huh.
person is thinking that you're thinking about them. Everyone's thinking
Exactly.
about that. Like, just chill. Just
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Exactly right.
some mentors always taught me like 99% of the stuff you worry about doesn't happen anyway. They're not even thinking about you, like Joe said. They're thinking about what you're thinking about them, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. And like you said, people are real. They appreciate the realness. So what made you get into TikTok? Like, how'd you get into it?
Oh, that was that was just for fun. I just had a really great time creating. I have a great time creating, period, no matter what I do. And TikTok just helped me express like my crazy side, the side that I have people, I guess, that I feel that people have a hard time understanding. Um, and it also kind of helped me express myself and the fact that I just don't give a damn what you think about me anymore. Like I just don't care. And when you make a TikTok out of it, like a whole video that you put out there, it really sends the message of I'm just doing me. I don't care what you think. If the TikTok's a little too crazy, like I had fun making this news. I'm not hurting nobody. It's nothing bad. It's just like this is just who I am, and it is what it is. because
What
because like some of the TikToks, for example, or that I've made or that are just out there in general, are kind of like when you make fun of things that people sometimes make you feel ashamed about. Like, oh, you're a hoe. Oh, you're a slut. Oh, you dress like a slut. Oh, you talk like a dumb slut. Like things like I'm just saying bad words, but this is how you think that people think about you, or how some people really think about you for some reasons, like just outward judging you really badly and harshly. And so when you make TikToks just expressing your sense of fashion, expressing different sides of you and putting it together and out there, it just kind of unarms them to be able to say anything about you, because it's like you don't even care. And it's, you're not, like I said, you're not harming anybody, you're not doing anything bad. It's just like the judgment side, they can't even do that no more. And it's all for fun, and it's all just, it's basically turned into art.
So it seems like a lot of people on TikTok, a lot of people use it. They're able to express themselves, like you said, like people have never seen them a certain way.
Mhm.
Like, it, can you give us an example of what you meant? Like, you're able to be crazy and just be yourself.
Yeah. Um, well, there's TikTok, I guess, works through sound, through music. They're using artists' music and clips of their music for you to be able to create like a video mainly. And it kind of goes hand in hand because a lot of these artists, the music that's out there, say for example, you guys both have heard this song from Cardi B. vodka yellow. You guys have both heard it. And this is a perfect example of what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of girls, maybe not all girls, but we have that feisty, sexy, sassy side where if we're in the right mood and the right place, we're going to feel that song. And there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people will think that there's a lot of stuff wrong with that. And I think you should just not take things all too seriously because we're just human, we're just human. And I think that's what TikTok helps me to express is like, I'm human. I'm not here to be perfect. I could try my whole life, but I would never accomplish it. And I'm just embracing that I'm human and I have so many different angles to me and perspectives. And that's why some TikToks are just, like vodka yellow type of stuff, and some are sad and crying. I don't cry on TikTok, but like sad ones. The day I do cry on TikTok, you guys can hit me up. Like, yeah, that's doing too much.
Well, I think that we are all weird.
Yeah.
But we just have to embrace our weirdness in so many ways.
Exactly. Yes, exactly that.
And that's what connects people. Like, yeah, you're weird, I'm weird. I'm not saying in a bad way, but...
And it's okay.
Exactly.
That's basically all it is.
So it seems like TikTok was kind of like therapy for you.
It really was, now that you mention it. It really was, and it still is. And have you ever tried making a TikTok out of curiosity?
So... I'm 43, okay? I know I look super young.
There's plenty of 43-year-olds making it huge on TikTok.
I know. I'm trying, right? So I'm just like, I feel like I kind of missed the TikTok. And TikTok is like work. It's like creating an actual movie. Like, it's not just like
it's like a movie.
It's not like Instagram where you just
production.
Yeah, like you got to do the music and make it like. Cause I'm also creative myself, so if I put something out there that's kind of lame, I feel bad. You know what I mean? So it's like it would probably take me. You could probably shoot a TikTok up in a few minutes, right? It would probably take me like an hour just to figure out this TikTok, right? So to answer your question, yes, I'm on TikTok. I've created a few, but I'm a little slow when it comes to like editing and all that kind of stuff. But if I understood it, I probably would do more. Yeah. But I really want to get more into it, or at least I want to have somebody on the team that's into like that social media type of thing, because we need to do more TikToks, more reels. We need to use that to grow the Instagram, to grow the channel. And speaking of that, so when I first started communicating with you, maybe about a year ago or less, you had about a little over 11,000 Instagram followers. You now have almost 40,000. And that happened very, very fast. And I think we had a little conversation. You said it's about the reels and the TikToks. So explain that to people out there in the world who maybe they're trying to grow their social media presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So TikTok is a very different platform from Instagram. The viewers on there are so different. And, well, in a sense, of course, you have some of the same people who use both platforms. But I guess TikTok makes it so that your content can be viewed, because it's primarily like a viewing video type of system, by more people faster than IG ever would. So it would be so hard for me to try and grow like a platform on Instagram, but on TikTok, you can grow a platform so much faster if you just consistently put out content. When I first started on TikTok, and it was probably just for fun. And I mean, my sister's younger than me by 4 years, and she was looking at me like I had lost my mind and I was going through a midlife crisis. And I was just in my living room like, I do not care, leave me alone. And because I don't know, I just realized that I was so good at the lip syncing part. I thought, hey, I'm really good at the lip syncing part. So I just kind of started doing more videos, and I would just laugh like when I finished a video at how hilarious it was. And I just got hooked. Of course, it was hard to edit at first. I was completely confused. And something like everything, you have to learn the process. And also my friends on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, the people I grew up with, we were all kind of past the little TikTok. We viewed TikTok as something for little kids that little kids use, kind of like just not for our age group. And that's why I think I downloaded TikTok like 4 or 5 times before, and I deleted it every time. Like, never really worked for me. But I guess the 5th time, 6th time was a charm. and I just got hooked on it. And I remember like I posted like 10 videos, and one of them, like my first video to blow up on TikTok. That's when you become addicted to TikTok. Your first video blows up, you just want to create more content that will blow up. And then I guess that's how I got started on TikTok, started creating all kinds of things. At the same time, I realized, hey, I can really be myself on here. Like, people are not as judgmental as in other platforms, because I guess everybody's just trying to be themselves on there. And if you're not trying to be yourself, it just naturally comes out, because there's no way to really, I don't know. TikTok's just something different, I guess. I do have an appreciation for the platform, because it is kind of a form of therapy for a lot, I do think. And also to learn and to just laugh and all kinds of things. And my goal was just to keep it positive, lit, and just to create, I guess.
Thank you for tuning in. That was the end of part 1. Part 2 comes out next Monday, 9 a.m. Please stay tuned.
Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when the next one comes out.